shit. Oh shit. I've been talking for the past 5 minutes. I had my mic muted. Oh, and I've had my desktop muted as well. Oh, good God. I am such a good caster. Okay. So the first match is going to be Mixu versus River. Mixu is one of my clan mates, so I play a bit with him from time to time. It's 4.5. He's decent. He's decent. He's good. So I've come well prepared today. I've got a coffee in front of me. I've got a monster waiting in the fridge in case I start to struggle. I've got a big pan of like noodles ready, just like in case I need energy. I just go grab noodles. I am well prepared. Apart from the mic and desktop audio being muted. Okay, gotta ping River. Is it just me that joins Spire channels for Clan Wars and then forgets to leave them? So I'm just like constantly in random channels for Clan Wars that are finished. Let's see. Okay, so I'm not an admin. I'm not a tournament admin. I don't normally do this. I'm just a caster and player. Okay. So we've got it is a 4.3k Zerg versus a 4.5k Protoss. I have no idea what the first map is. Where is everything? Okay, I thought I was prepared, but I clearly am not all that well prepared. Let's see, what's the... Like, I was just called in to cast. I don't know much more than that. So we've got to do picks and bans first, vetoes. Yeah. So we're going to do A, B, B, A, A, B, C for veto format. Lightshade. Fuck Lightshade. Fuck Lightshade. It's such a big open map. It's very good for Zerg, I think. They can get such good Ling surrounds on your army and shit if you're not careful. Like, I woke up like 2 hours ago and then I just laid in bed for 2 hours because I'm tired as fuck. So like I then realized the time and I had to like jump out of bed, quickly grab breakfast and prepare something to eat for lunch. And just very quickly get ready to cast. I'm just sipping on my morning coffee now. Don't normally have a morning coffee. What are the second map? So our first map is going to be Oxide, chosen by Mixu. It can be a nice map for Protoss. There's lots of tight corridors and decent spaces to fight. But there's also, like, taking your fourth is kind of hard. Because it's a really awkward angle to defend from when they attack between your natural and your third. Okay, here we go. So, DSL Elite, this is the first best of 3. We are going to have 4 more best of 3s today after this. First match. In the top right, representing the Angry European Juniors, otherwise known as Archangel EU. It is the Blue Zerg player, River. I'm playing for the home team, playing for my boys. It is one of the Drunken Outlaws, the light blue Protoss. It's Mixu. So I have no idea if he's gonna do the double Stargate Void Ray thing that we've been seeing a lot of recently. I tried it the other day on ladder because a Zerg fucking hatch blocked me, so my build was just gone. I was like, fuck it, I guess I'm trying this. First time ever on ladder, let's go. It did not work. It did not work. I got to late game, but then Infestors kind of ruined me. Like, I've never seen Infestors before in game, actually, I don't think. Not much. It's funny, I actually think I saw the strategy be used a lot more. I think I saw it first in DSL, actually, before I saw it in Pro Play. Well, I'm not sure if that's just because I don't follow Pro Play for shit. I'm too busy playing. So, this is the moment in the game where casters who have nothing else to say will always comment, okay, everything looks standard. And then I think that's boring. Because it's like, okay, yes, everyone with eyes can see that. I wonder if River's going to try to do German taxi. I think it's kind of strong on this map, just because of the really awkward attack angle between the natural and third, where you can kind of get around. You can circumvent the shield batteries at the third, or you can cut off extra mortals building and stuff and void rays. You can't really get any reinforcement from the tech structures in the main to the third. And then if they try and force field you while their army's standing on the third, you can kind of just poke at the natural wall and get lings in. So it will be a Stargate play. So you could just go triple Oracle into an Immortal push. It's an older style, it's not quite as viable right now. But honestly, I think this is going to be double Stargate Void Ray. It's just so good right now. So common. We've got 2 Adepts out on the map, I didn't realise. Which actually means that Mixu will have needed to chrono the Stalker, otherwise a Ling could have gotten him and scouted. Okay. Killing a few units. I don't think this is quite worth it yet. For 2 Adepts. We really should be shading out more to threaten it. So that was what? 4? No, it's 3 drones. Yeah, that wasn't worth it. Forced a few extra lings. But now he has like no units to defend at home. So he's trying to take a third, but he's got literally an Oracle and a Stalker. So I don't agree with that move. This Oracle just going to lose all its health immediately. All its shields immediately. No, don't lose the Oracle! Ooh, 45 health. That was some risky shit, Mexo. Dirty boy. Playing it fast and loose. So these two things are gonna just check what's up. I forgot to put myself on Do Not Disturb on Discord. So I'm sorry if you heard that bleep from my Discord, I just got the end. Okay. So this Mixer's getting a bit of harass. It looks like he's going to set up for maybe a timing push. He could get like +1, 2, 3 Immortals, a few Archons and charge up. That can be a decent pressure. Well, I guess his fourth behind it from the position he's in. It's a nice way to play. Piss off, Magna. I'll turn up graphics as much as I can. There we go. I'll put it on high graphics just for you, Magnath. Might have been me. Might have been me. God, the game looks so weird when you put it on high graphics and you lose used to low graphics from playing. What is this? Oh, this is a double Oracle Archon drop, okay. I dig this. I can fuck with this. I mean, the Archon drop is just like, when you do an opener like this, where you get like Templar Archives in time for it, the Archon drop is kind of just like, you want the Archons anyway to have some fighting cost. It's just, it is free damage, so there's literally no reason not to. It's a very old style though to go for it. Out of a Stargate. So, I'm clearly not very good with using Discord. I clearly don't know how it works particularly well, because after like 2-3 years of being constantly on Do Not Disturb mode so that I wouldn't get sound clings from all the servers, only now have I realised I can just mute the servers without, I can mute the servers and still have pings, still see when I get pinged, but just not get a noise for it, but also get noises from DMs, so I don't have to be on Do Not Disturb constantly. And I can hear DMs, rather than just having to Alt-Tab furiously. The Archon drop, Prism is a bit damaged, but like that doesn't really matter, because this is a cute move. That's just a cute little way to rally the Immortals. So he's going to have a nice timing attack with +1 and charge. 6 Templar. But I think Mixu needs to find the Zerg army before trying to move out. So yeah, here we go. We've got a attack moving in. And like Mixu's trying to move out right now. Like, okay, he's seen it now. Mixu needs to come home. Yeah. We'll send off the okay. Now, popping the shield battery overcharge really early is going to help keep the cannons alive for a while, but when the full fight actually starts with the army, that's going to be a bit... doesn't end up mattering much. Come on, get a Revelation. Not losing both Oracles like that is nasty. You really want to keep them alive for constant Revelations. Bunch of Banelings getting killed in the middle of the map. River's just like, nope. GG. GG. So that was... I wasn't expecting to see the Archon drop. The double... I was not expecting the double Oracle into Archon drop play. That's cute. That's old. Okay. So. Okay. Yeah, Roach Hydra Bane. Now that you point it out, Magnath, Roach Hydra Bane is actually a bit okay. I mean, Roach Hydra used to be a thing, but it's Roach Hydra Ravager, isn't it? Because like, otherwise you just get force fielded to ever-living fuck. I guess I can get it on that map because there aren't as many open spaces for Lingbane Hydra. But you really want to try and get to Lurkers before doing any kind of attack because, like, Zerg Ground Army pre-Lurker and pre-Broodlord is just kind of shit. It can't take a full fight. The main advantage Zerg has that makes them kind of really difficult to beat, if you're against a good player, is that Baneling run-bys with +2 melee are fucking absurd. They are absurd. So that's the really only thing that forces Protoss to be defensive, is just trying to deal with that and being in a good position for it. The fuck is this new PogChamp? The fuck is that new PogChamp? Oh boy. What is Mixu doing? He's going Cannon Rush. Gateforge. He's got a straight pile on walls remain. What is he waiting for? Okay, he's waiting for it to be spotted, I think. Yeah, and then you've got this nasty spot here for cannons. So my question is he gonna expand behind this? Or is he going to try and do the Immortal drop? Okay, so this is a big commitment from him for just cancelling a natural, so I think he's gonna... Yeah. This is a big commitment from him to just cancel a natural, honestly. Yeah, and he's blocking off his own natural. He isn't starting the Robo. You should start the Robo like here. Alright, place a cannon here maybe. Oh no, he doesn't have gas yet, okay. I'm dumb. I am very dumb. It's a 2-minute delay. As like lots of tournaments do. Okay, got the Robo right on time then. So I never play this, I never see this happen much, so I actually don't know much of what happens in this kind of game. Aside from just like... I watched the Neuro play versus this once and he did like Nidus and had proxy base. So you might see that come out. You can just send overlords out and just use Nidus to get drones out. River can't cancel this. There aren't actually there are almost no cannons here. There's like one cannon that's powered. So Lings are actually going to really run this over. Like, yeah, and these shield barriers being so far forward, this doesn't feel the best planned out of Mixu. I don't see how he actually gets anything done here. Unless this Immortal pops and does massive damage. And yeah, with the probe dying, now you just can't do anything, really. Like, there are no shield batteries here. So I have no idea what Mixu is hoping for. I think this is just GG. What Mixu needed was he needed more, either more cannons, or he needed the shield batteries to be further back so they couldn't be sniped like that. Because otherwise there's like no way that he survives the first push down. So, GG there. You can't rush the base, yeah. You just drop a extra cannon. Okay. So that was just an unfortunate game. Apparently he forgot his gas till a bit late. Yeah, as you guys are pointing out, I don't play this kind of game often, so I don't know this. Yeah. So now we're tied up. So now we've got tiebreaker on our hands. Let's go. I fucking love coffee. I used to really dislike the taste of coffee. I'd need like so much flavorings added to it when I used to get it at I think it was Espresso House. I don't remember. There's some coffee shop on the second floor of the Tesco's in the town where we lived. But now I just love the taste of coffee. With just a bit of milk. It's like, it's such an amazing drink. Like, how it just like makes you alert and shit. It's a godsend. It's world peace in a cup. It's kind of fascinating to me how it has this weird effect on people with ADHD where stimulants make you kind of calmer. We've got no forge this time. We don't even have any shenanigans with trying to trick him into thinking there'd be a cannon rush. Beyond people with ADHD, it doesn't make me calmer, it makes me handle stress better. So it makes me alert, but it also, like, makes me cope more. And through that makes me calmer, but it also doesn't make you hyper. It does. Stimulants don't make me hyper in the same way, except for Monster. If I chug it really fast, I can get hyper, but not full blown. That's fascinating. Ooh, there's a pylon. Oh, this is. Oh, I love you, Mixu. Oh, this is smart. He's hiding. Ooh. I swear to God, Mixu, if you're going to do a Marjorie or an Immortal All-In like this and it doesn't get scouted, you are just a genius. I love this weird pylon positioning. And then he's keeping the Adept at home instead of sending it out. So he's not going to get any scouting with his Adept. But what he is going to get is he's going to completely deny all scouting for his opponent. Which, with what I'm guessing he's going, is pretty important. Okay, so it's a prism first. So that's going to be to both for the attack, and it's going to be used to help the Stalker deny all the overall scouting. My question is though, where's the Twilight? Because if this can't be a Marjorie because there's no Twilight, can't be Adept, but he's not building sentries. Is this just an Immortal drop? I'm very confused as to what this is, because he's not building probes, so this is an all-in. This is just going to be a Stalker Immortal or Adept Immortal, isn't it? Does this hit faster? He didn't go gas first. I'm confused. What? What are you doing, Mixu? I've never seen this before. Is this a new thing? Like, if this is a new thing and I just haven't been paying attention, please tell me. If this isn't a new thing. Because, like, he's going only one Immortal. This is the weirdest Soul Train I've ever seen. This can't be this isn't a normal Soul Train. What is this? This is hitting so fast though. Like, there aren't all that many units, so these Queens and Lings are going to be pretty effective. So there are a few more units now. I think next warping round's going to have to be a bunch of Sentry, or Adepts even, because he needs some Ling killing power. Who knows? So look. Okay, decent force fields to start. Not perfect, but decent. Okay, we've got Zealots to kill the Lings. Those not quite getting the value they need. I don't think this is doing what it needs to. Okay, the Lings are starting to die off, but there's Ravagers and Queens. So far this hasn't been the most efficient for Mixu. Okay. Gonna pick off a high energy Queen first, so that's not gonna be able to transfuse much. Transfuse is really unarcing them hard. Oh, nice force field to pick off these two extra Queens so they can't heal the others. This third is dead. So I kind of like this, because this hits so quick. I'd really love to see an Observer with this though, so that he could kill Kree. Trying to kite back. He's almost out of force fields though. River's supply blocks, he lost a few Overlords, so he's not going to get any reinforcements till this next wave of Overlord finishes. Yeah, it's just an Immortal all-in, but like there are, as you say, Loblix, but there's so many ways you can do an Immortal all-in. Is this a new... Okay, good concave setup by River. Mixu is a bit in a conga line there, so he ends up wasting 2 force fields, having to use them for the retreat. But now it's 2 base to 2 base. So whilst River does have a higher economy, he's going to start floating so much because he just can't build. So he doesn't have the larvae. That queen just barely overextends, but Mixu kind of doesn't micro it properly. Okay. Coming in, Mixu's army is a bit out of position or misplaced here. All the zealots were at the back, so they come in really late to force these roaches to start kiting as they are now and to kill off the lings. So that engagement wasn't taken incredibly well. These force fields really are not getting much done, just because there's not enough of them anymore. This one immortal getting collapsed on nearly dies. If that immortal dies, that's huge. This immortal is so much of the fighting power of this army. But now, yeah, the Roachling Ravager just overwhelming this. Stalkers just don't do much. But Mixu's a fighter. He's fighting in it till the end. He's warping shit in at home. I don't know why he... I think he has to... Yeah, he has to make an immortal, but he also has to build shield batteries in his natural and build a cyber in his main and just let the natural wall fall, so that he can take a better fight. Because now he's trying to take this fight with no shield batteries, and it's just not working out. Another immortal does pop, and this cybernetics core is gonna fall, which is why I said you have to build one in the main, because that's just going to fall no matter what. Mixu making use of the immortal shields, but overextending it a bit and taking damage on them they didn't need to. He's not building any shield batteries. Okay, he does end up holding on somewhat. And now I've just got that StarCraft 2 Masters arcade mode scenario with 2 immortals and a prism versus infinite roaches. I don't think Mixu can push out this far, because now he's on Kree. And right near the reinforcements of the Zerg. He needs to go home. He can't out-micro this. So he's just going to get collapsed on and killed. Yeah. So I think that's GG. Losing so many gateway units there. If he'd been building immortals in this time, he maybe could do something. Now these zealots are running away, not really providing a meat shield for the immortals, and just getting kited to death, losing so many minerals here of value that he really needs. Mixu really showing the fighting spirit. He's just microing his heart out. 2 immortals and a dream versus so much Zerg. Push started out damn good. It started out damn good, but then it just all collapsed when the sentries weren't able to do their job well enough. A few too many bad engagements. Mixu was really desperate to stay in this though. How much APM does he have right now? He still has less APM than the Zerg whilst doing this micro. I find that amusing. Oh no, that was average. Now current he's at like 400. With like all the production going down, with all the economy going, like, what is Mix's hope? Like, even if he can just never lose these immortals, he's gonna just get slowly killed. Like, yes, one Immortal in Prison can kill infinite Rogue Ravager Ling, but not before the Rogue Ravager Ling kills the entire base. This is desperate. That was really drawing it out there, mate. Okay. So that was River versus Mixu. 2-1 in favour of River. I mean, the face... I have to agree with River here, honestly. Like... Nah, I disagree. Like, he wasn't being overly aggressive about it. Like, he wasn't being like, get out of the game, scrub. He wasn't like, GG already, mate. He was like, reasonably like, why aren't you GGing? Like, Mixu stayed in it really long. Like, okay, River didn't have to say it, but it's just like... When things get past the point of fighting spirit, like fighting against unlikely odds, when there's still a reasonable chance you could win if your opponent makes a mistake, and when it goes into just stubbornness for the sake of stubbornness, like there's no way you win a game when all you have is an Immortal and 2 Prisms against a 3-base Zerg. How are you supposed to win that? Where is your game plan? What mistake are you hoping for? when he has enough Lings and Ravagers to be constantly running around under your prism, so you can't even drop without getting hit by Lings. It's a bit... Okay, I know you want to win, mate, but do you really have any way at all of winning here? Unless I literally fall over dead on my keyboard. If you're hoping your opponent falls dead on their keyboard as your way to win, it's time to GG. But I respect this fighting spirit. Okay. Illusion isn't responding, so I'm just gonna DM the other admin. Okay. I really have no idea what to do right now, because Universe's opponent isn't here. Yeah. Best of 3 was a bit weird. Mixu won the first game with a macro build after defending a push, and then he went cheese 2 games in a row. That's very unusual way of like thinking. So I wonder what I was thinking there. Okay. what happens now? Okay, sniper. Okay, so Quintinus gets disqualified because he hasn't showed up for an hour. You know, it's a bit annoying because you're like, this date has been set for a good while now. Like, there was a ping on Tuesday, and it's been set even before then, I'm pretty sure. So it's like, why are you not here, mate? I need to sign up for more tournaments myself, though. I rarely play in tournaments because, like, I just forget that they exist. But, like, it's such a different experience to ladder, and it's so damn fun. Okay, so Quintinus gets disqualified. I've said that. This dead space of quiet is why I always want a co-caster, because I cannot for the life of me. I cannot for the life of me come up with topics to talk about. Not not even in real life, not even when talking with friends, like I very rarely have things to talk about. I Quinn. Okay. Okay. This is one of the reasons why you need someone who's an actual admin to not be casting and watching things, because I have no idea what's supposed to be going on. So I end up just like I end up just like waiting round, trying to being confused as hell. Because I just have no idea what's going on. But then also, because I'm kind of an autistic little shit who doesn't know how to do conversations. I don't know what to talk about. I only really talk about people, or talk with people. I only really talk with people to find out what they're getting up to, because I am genuinely interested. What are you doing in your life right now? I love hearing it. Okay, I have no idea what's going on. Okay, I've completely misunderstood. I'm just trying to understand what's going on. Yeah, I have no idea what to say about the players. My opinions of the players' universe, I have terrible memory. So I don't remember what universe does. I just remember he was fun to watch and cast last time I cast him. River, you played... You had a really weird way to play your first match. You frickin'... You went Hydra, Roach, Bane. Which, like, okay. Roaches are cheap as shit. They're decent, quick power units. Hydra scale well and are useful for lurkers. And Bane run-bys are ridiculous. How do they mesh well in a fight, though? Because, like, Roach, Hydra wants to stay back and auto-attack. Banelings want to jump on top of you. So it's kind of a bit of a clash there. But you handled the cheese as well in the second and third match. You definitely did. Mixu, I have no idea what Mixu was thinking. Going for a cheese twice in a row. I don't know if it was just what he decided based on the map, if it was pre-planned, or if it was panicking because he was losing, but didn't realise it was losing because he was doing cheese, and he won the macro match. Like, I think if he'd done the same strat he did on the first map, he would have won. That's a really, ladder and tournaments are just so different. It's fascinating to me. Because you have the base game, but then you also have the added layer of decision making on your strategies and how you control the information your opponent gets and how you interpret the information they give you. Which is just, it's a fascinating part of the game. Okay. Okay, so we've got a ZVT now. We've got ZVT now, which is not my not a matchup I understand well, but a matchup I still love to watch. So I'm just gonna have the players DM me either rock, paper, or scissors. Because I have no idea who's supposed to pick first, who's supposed to be A. Oh man. Universe doesn't even, he's just like, no, I'm B. Not even gonna play. Okay. This is why we need an admin, because I'm not an admin, I'm a caster. Oh. It can sometimes be fascinating to think about the different logic people go through when deciding their strategies. Like, okay, because I choose the first game, I shouldn't choose the second game. Or because they think I won't choose the second game, I should choose the second game. Like, things like that, like how the build you did in the past affect what build you do in the future. There's no real correct way to think. It is just what you think is right. And, like, you can rationalize it however you want. But it's really difficult to say, like, objectively for a fact that, okay, because you do this, you should do this next. It's an Oxide Submarine Light Shade vetoes so far. Yeah. Don't forget to do the Maturino as illusion, just point it out. Okay, so Manside's a Death Aura. I love Death Aura. I always have this thing where I just love the really old maps. The older the map, the more I like it, because I'm more comfortable with it. Death Aura to me right now just feels like a very solid, consistent map. It's just stable and nice. And, like, yeah, it is a macro map, and I'm a macro player, so obviously I'm gonna like the macro maps more. But, like, it probably isn't better for TOS than some of the other maps in the pool. I just like it more, because I've played it a lot. Which is interesting, it's an example of the bias of familiarity. I've got freaking developer for one of the arcade modes DMing me right now about balance changes. I hardly even play the mode. I'm just good because I have mechanics. He's DMing me for about... Right. In the bottom right, representing himself, the entirety of existence, it is the blue Terran player universe. And in the top right, representing European juniors of Archangel, it is the Red Zerg player, River. I have to see if the tides of the river can stand up to the might of the universe. I just love ZVT because it's like, it is the most standard of StarCraft. It is just what is the purest form of StarCraft without any other random shit. Like Protoss warp-in bullshit. Or DTs and shit, yeah. It is... Like, I love playing Protoss, I love Protoss race, I love the variety it brings and how it's different. But ZVT is standard. In its entirety, like with the cheeses as well, it is the purest form of RTS as I understand it. And I love it. And it's normally so well balanced as well. Like, I'm not the most knowledgeable player, but I do not know of a point in time where ZVT was severely imbalanced and poorly designed. One thing I like about TOS though is that in Terran versus Protoss, Protoss plays like Zerg. In Zerg versus Protoss, Protoss normally plays like Terran. Which I just find fascinating, that Protoss is the in-between race. It swaps between how each race plays, because Protoss is capable of being very aggressive. It's also capable of being very defensive. I think that might come down a bit to how Chrono Boost works, with allowing you to speed up either your upgrades and army production for your aggressive capabilities, or speed up your economy for your growth. Ooh. Picking off creep tumors. Nice. It's always nice when you pick off a creep tumor. It's just, yeah, it's a lovely feeling. It's so fun that when they changed the unit type of the creep tumor to be light, suddenly Protoss players started picking off creep tumors more with the first adept. It's something the Zerg players actually have to worry about. Okay. So we've just got literally the most standard build out of the Terran you can ever have. I think this is what he does a lot of the time though, isn't it, Universe? This is his main thing, which I really enjoy watching. So one idea that's kind of interesting to me, one thing about StarCraft, roaches don't get used much in Zerg vs Terran for normal play. They're not really a part of your defense. They don't exist much in Zerg vs Terran right now, but they exist very much in Protoss vs Zerg. It's just an interesting idea, like, because the races of Protoss or the units of Protoss are different, the way Zerg plays is different. But it's obvious, and it's very no shit kind of thing to say, but it's still kind of interesting. So, the British got kills. Nice. Very, very calm game. Both these players are decent, so they're able to keep up with each other. Hellions just bouncing around trying to get damage, Liberator being the annoying bastard it can be. Though this is one thing I do not like about maps like Death Aura, is the dead space behind the main. There was one map last season where I was really hesitant to play anything other than Stargate versus Terran, because they could just jump around between the main and the nat with medevacs and liberators and make it really hard to defend anything. This liberator got 11 kills. That's quite a few, actually. And I don't know how recent this is, but it's something I know hasn't always been this way, but the way Terran plays and approaches the game, even in Protoss versus Terran, changed a bit ago. Like the way the pro players approach it. They used to approach it much more aggressively, but now players so much more often are just trying to rush to 3-base economy. Which is... I love it. I love that that's how it's changed. It's interesting to see now that that's the focus of the game. Get to 3-base economy whilst getting as much of an advantage as you can to there, and then play from that. So, there's lots of queens here, no Banes formed yet. So these Lings aren't going to be able to do much versus this massive amount of Hellions and Marines. A few Banelings coming in, going to get cover fired down a bit. Tanks are dead though. There are plenty of queens here, but they just do not outmatch the DPS of Ling or Marine Hellion. Lots of things are swarming in here, and they will kill off all of these Marines. That was a lot lost there for the Zerg. That was very inefficient trading. They've lost like almost double the amount of minerals. This feels like such a risky thing to do to me. I do not quite understand why Universe feels safe doing this. He's sent out basically all of his Marines to do drops. He's got one single drop here. One, not even a full medevac of Marines here. This is something I always feel so scared to do as Terran, is just move out with all of the units to harass, because I'm like scared I'm going to get all in. Catching off this queen is very nice. It's going to mean that the inject's going to be hard to do, which is going to really screw with River's macro. Jumping between them and that. The medevac should get focus fired down by the queen. That's going to leave these Marines stranded. But I think they got their money's worth. The other drop didn't get quite as much done though. Yeah, it wasn't too efficient. Starting to... Universe can't make too many of those kinds of moves, otherwise he's gonna end up losing more than he's gained. A bunch of Lings here gonna... They would have attacked that 4th base, but they get caught out by these Marines. So we should see some Utisks started soon, because the Spire's finished. It's just moving right... Okay, he did see the base. Oh, that's unlucky. Another Ling run by getting caught out. That is one of the worst feelings in the world as a run-by-centric player. When your run-bys just get caught out by an army moving out to attack you. You're like, well, shit. Now I have no time to get damage back. Okay, a lot of Banelings coming in here. Not going to actually catch up to anything though. I'm going to get blasted to holy hell by these tanks. That was a lot of banelings lost without really getting much damage onto these marines. River trying to morph more banes. Now all the lings and banes running in. Going to try and collapse onto these marines and tanks. Going to get to kill off all the tanks, but these banes... Not enough banes left over to fight these marines. So Universe can just move back in. Now he's going to try and split instead of fighting. But there's just so many banes, his entire army gets just rolled. But that wasn't particularly effective or efficient for River. Now there's a bunch of mines here and liberators, so this is going to be a lot harder to deal with. River's in such a nice position here to get a big flank off though and just completely screw the entire army. A nice run by coming in. This is going to be able to catch off any reinforcements and get a bunch of economic damage. Natural wall is open as well, so he's going to get in, going to get right on top of the reinforcements. That should force Universe to go home, no? Like, Universe losing 22 workers for only killing a base. Universe is like massively behind right now. I don't really know what he's doing. He's just kind of throwing away his army a lot. I'm not really getting much value for it. This is one of the issues with a harass heavy style. If you don't defend enough, if you don't defend well enough, you end up doing harass, but it ends up hurting you more than helping you. So thing's going to get on top of the planetary now, but there is plenty of army here to defend it, so it shouldn't go down. Should pull a few SCVs to repair. So we're going to have to see. Universe has a really big army right now. So all these run-bys. These run-bys killing... He just blasted the orbital command there. So Universe has a massive army advantage. He's up 100 army supply against pure Ling Bane. There isn't even a single muta here. And he has plenty of mines. These Banes coming in onto the army. Gonna kill off all the mines, but not gonna get any of the real marines, which are the big powerhouse of this army. So now we're going to have to see if Universe can push this advantage he has and just keep trading, abusing the fact that he's going to be trading more efficiently because he's got more army fighting to help make up for the fact that he's got less economy to refill it less often. Like, the splits here are not... These splits are not too effective. So he's losing a lot of his bio to these banelings. Now, third is rebuilt for Universe, and the SCV count is starting to improve. These Marauders tanking so much. Let's see, can the splits be... Are the splits going to be what they need for this fight? I don't think they are. Universe's army's just going to get rolled again. But there's just not quite enough banelings to actually finish the job. Not quite enough back at home. To back it up, even. So Universe now at almost equal worker counts is going to have a bigger economy. Landing his 5th base? Yeah, 5th base. But I have to ask, like, why isn't River getting any Mutalisks here? He's just going raw or pure Ling Bane. 16 Banes morphing at the back here. Those two units are going to get killed off. Awkward rally. But these Banes getting caught before they hit. These SCVs can't keep running forever. You know, they've got to go somewhere. Now these Banes... Ooh, massive. Actually, not as massive as it looked. Only 8 FCV kills. Still. River does need to get all the SCV kills he can. Because Universe is just pushing through and killing more and more bases. I don't know what River can do. He's got no minerals, he's placing 1k gas, and he's got 100 less army supply on just Ling Bane. I don't really understand what the game plan was for River here. His army is so low tech. If Universe splits were better, he would have just been rolled over. So, those mines do get cleared up, but it cost him a fair bit to do so. Now this bio ball is just walking through the centre of the hive. And yeah, River has to GG. Okay. So GG to Universe. Okay. Wasn't Pillars? No, Pillars was vetoed last. Best of 3. So this is a much more open map. So this should be much better for the mass Ling Bane style. Like the linear third has a very open attack path to it, and if you clear the rocks, the other third does as well. Like there are like 3 or 4 angles you can come in on. So Ling Bane Ultra and Mutalisk can actually work really well on this map. Especially with how much airspace there is. Just so much space for an army to get caught out in the middle of a map. We'll have to see. I'd like to see River try and do something more tech heavy this game. Because the low tech army, it's cheap as hell, but it just doesn't trade all that efficiently. So you kind of end up just running out of steam like River did last game. But he also had a Spire and he got +1 air attack. So I don't know what his plan was. I think maybe he was trying to get Mutalisks, but he never felt like he had the freedom. Ooh. We have a... This is a 6... Yes, this was a 16 pool. So I'm not entirely sure what the plan is for this in a ZVT, because you can't really kill the Zerg, well, not easily, you can't go up into the main and stuff. But I love this. He didn't get the... he wasn't able to handle the economic game last game. So now he's just seeing, okay, if I go more aggressive, can I maybe pull out a win this time? But also, even if he gets the win this time, he also gives himself an advantage for the game after. Because Universe has to be aware, okay, my opponent could go macro, or they could go cheese. Ooh. Universe didn't spot the Roach Warren. Didn't spot the Roach Warren. So expanding on the low ground. He's keeping the Reaper at home. But he's not getting anything else. If he drops a reactor, this is going to be really difficult to defend. Because he's just not going to have the unit count for a good while. Yeah. He's going to have to cancel the natural. Natural is not going to get up. Pull up the depot. Okay, good. So these Lings are now going to have free reign to just hit this command center. It's going to be very delayed. And when these 4 roaches get here, like, Universe isn't going to have time to build a tank or anything, I don't think. So he's going to have to build Hellions. If he drops a Pack Lab, it's going to be really difficult. So he is going to hold the CC. He's going to keep it alive for now. It's been really delayed. And this has the advantage of, they might be even now. I think they kind of are. If River just starts greeting, I think he's delayed the command center enough. But the problem for Universe now is that River was prepared for this. River was mentally prepared for this, so he can go into it knowing what he's going to do more easily. But Universe wasn't. So Universe is having to adapt himself on the fly, which takes more mental effort to do properly. Oh, River's getting some nice damage with these 4 Lings. 4 roaches even. They're probably going to end up dying here, but they will kill off a good few Marines and just get a fair bit of their money value back. Killed off 5 SCVs with it, killed off a good few Marines. Like, this is a good trade, and now Universe is going to just be a bit... He's lost his plan. He can't do his plan anymore because the game's different. So now he has to, on the fly, come up with... He has to figure out what's the best way to play. Yeah, I think I agree with him here. Just pumping Marines and... Okay. He's going to try and get his... This is a bit scary, because he's going to reduce his... Oh, the Liberator died. I'm such a bad observer. He's going to be delaying his Marine count a bit to get a faster stim, so that he can be in the mid-game better. That's going to make it a bit scarier if there's like a random Ling Flood. Because he has no natural wall right now. And he'll have a lower Marine count than if he just stayed off with the barracks on the reactor. Hellion Micro not the best here. Drone splits are really helping. So, ooh. That was almost worth it. But that could have been better for Universe. Good defense of the Hellions by River. So Universe is going to be in a pretty solid position to get into a macro game, get stabilized, and then start playing the harassment and base attacking game. With his 3rd base coming up, he's got Stim soon. +1 attack. He's just in a solid position. He's actually almost even on workers, which is really good. Why did the music shut off? So it ran out of music to play. Is it looping? Ah, I didn't have continuous music. Ah. I almost never play with StarCraft music, so I don't have that on. Okay, so this is interesting. River's going for roaches this game, which I don't think they're particularly strong in Zerg versus Terran, just because tanks are just so good. Like, they outrange the roaches, they do a fuck ton of damage. The only way roaches are really good is if you get like a quick roach max and just abuse the fact that roaches are the cheapest one to power. Okay. He got a good bit of damage there onto the Marines because they weren't really prepared. So the tanks aren't sieged up. This Ling run by getting quite a bit of value. This push actually going home. So Universe is in a really good spot right now, I think. He is behind a bit on workers. But because of mules, he can just mule and be fine. So and if the army compositions keep going as they are, I think his army composition is just way stronger when maxed. Okay. Got a roach run by. There aren't actually a lot of ground forces here to deal with it. So these roaches just pick off the tank for free and then move into the natural. And like 4 roaches can actually do quite a bit of damage. It's going to be enough bio there to stop it, but it's going to get a good few SCV kills. Spore does kill off one of the medevacs harassing in the main, so now at least 8 of the enemy's Marines are going to die. But getting both trading back and forth pretty decently. Another medevac drop going into the third. Well, Queen's in position to catch that medevac trying to move back into the main. Gonna stop that. Now, there aren't a lot of Marines for Universe right now. There isn't a lot of bio. I really like this double factory play though. His opponent's going Infestor Roach Ravager. That's interesting. These kind of Terrans are so difficult to deal with. And they're so frustrating as well, when they just keep dropping back and forth between different spots. It's just so difficult. And it's so frustrating as well, so it like really taxes your mental effort to just not lose your shit at them. So he's going to try for a big push now. He's got a lot of damage with these drops. He's actually ahead in workers. And army supplies behind. Roach Ravager moving through that small choke to actually doesn't take the greatest fight. Now Universe doing the opposite. Fungal and Vile's doing so much splash damage that that's going to just melt this Marine Marauder. There's almost no anti-air here, so these Liberators have just free range. Universe just going to take that. Damn. GG. That was very clean play by Universe. So it's actually going to be over a lot quicker than I thought. So it's rematch time. So, I have no idea if Mixu's going to... It's going to be interesting to see if Mixu tries to play the same way he did last time, but just play it better. Or if he's going to switch it up and just do macro the whole time. I think if we get Yaganatha, he might do the Cannon Rush again. Because the first time round he did make a build order mistake, which you can really easily correct. And then you'll have a lot of power in that. And you can try again. And Yaganatha is a really difficult map to play PvZ on. Because just the way it's built makes it really fucking good for run-bys. It makes it really good for run-bys. So, we might well see it again. Because I definitely know that I wouldn't enjoy playing... I wouldn't enjoy playing a macro game versus a run-by heavy Zerg. No. First map is going to be Pillars. So River actually changed up his vetoes a bit and vetoed Oxide, which was the only map he lost last game, or last time. Then we're going to have Yaganatha second. I feel like Yaganatha might end up going the same way it did the first time. Because I don't believe Mixu's going to change his strategy at the least. Because why would he? You know, it's a difficult map to macro against Zergs on. But now we're in the first match of this best of 3 series. In the top right hand corner, winning the best of 3 the first time round, it is the blue Zerg player, River. And his opponent in the bottom right, trying to see if he can get the revenge kill and reclaim his honor in the name of the DOH. It is the light blue Protoss player, Mixu. I really like this map for strong timing attacks on the Zerg's third, because it's like force fields like there are just so good. This is a really nice space to attack into. But also you can do attacks on the fourth because you've got the same kind of thing. So force fields are just really good on this map. I don't think River is going to risk it at all with going any kind of early pull builds. Because the first best of 3 these two played, it was Mixu went a economic build first game and River lost. But then after the next two after, Mixu went aggressive, cheesy plays and lost. So I don't think River really needs to risk going aggressive. Because Mixu's already showed that he may well make that risk himself. Now also the trick of hiding the pylons in the places that Mixu had in the second map, River will be aware of that now. and it'll look better, search harder with the first Overlord. First or second Overlord. Okay. Yeah, we are just going to get Stargate play. I think this is probably just going to be the Oracle, double Oracle into Archon drop. Yeah, and with the double Adept play again. That music is too loud. Okay. This map, compared to Yagamathra, is much better for playing macro on though. So I do feel good about the build order choice from Mixu. Aside from the fact that this build probably straight up dies to the German taxi, to be honest. Because you're just not going to have a lot of... You don't get a lot of units with this kind of build. Because you just put so much in tech so early. You know, you get 2 Oracles. And you get 2 Archons. You don't get charged quickly at all, so you don't have... You can't really dump your minerals into charge lots to defend with. Or you can dump it into static defense. Oracle's going to come in, 2 Queens are just going to push away. This is fine. He hasn't lost any health this time. And he just gets a nice scout out. So yeah, this is going to be the Archon drop again. I'd love to see River just after seeing the second Oracle, if it's possible, to just German taxi. Oh no! Almost losing the Oracle. Down. Took a lot of damage on it. There's an Evo chamber, so it won't be any German taxi. So now I'm just gonna have to see if, because there's no way River isn't gonna know that what Mix's plan is this time, because he's seen this before. So gonna have to see if River will make the same mistake of doing the really weird push he did the first time. I don't think he will. And if he doesn't, it's going to be interesting to see how he tries to play out mid-game. Ooh, 2 Oracles killing off a Queen. Killing a Queen is always lovely. Because it's just... They give so much value in their injects and their transfuses and creep tumors. Mixu's build doesn't give any really strong advantages, but it's just it creates really stable games. Because he has a fair few Immortals to survive Roaches. He has very quick Storm, so Hydras aren't a problem. He also has Charge and stuff, so it'll be fine.
Hi. Just wanted to say hi.
Hello. Family friend just coming over. Popped in the room to say hi. Okay. Killing the 4th again. Killing the 4th base with Archons is always nice. Like... If it's one of those things with Protoss where you do it and you're just like, yes, this feels good, man. This is a risky move going in when there are so many Queens. Loses a bit of warp pushing hard for that, but does kill off a few Lings. I don't think that's worth it. Because you don't recover health as Protoss at all. I think Mixu right now is really vulnerable to any kind of... If River had noticed it, he's really vulnerable to any kind of fast Roach Max with this build. Because you get your units out so slowly. Oh shit, he's going to lose the Prism here. Oh, good drops. Good drop on the Archons to just saves the Prism, because then the Hydras start attacking the Archons instead of the Prism. And it was so close to losing it there. If River had noticed sooner, that's 300 gas and like 500 minerals. That's so much value. And the Robo build time as well, which when you're trying to power on Immortals is really valuable. I don't really like Mixu's building placement right now, his base layout, because this third base is super vulnerable to Baneling run bys. Like, it's so vulnerable. The pylons, the cannons and shivers, they're just not in a good spot. Good revelation. There. It's really important to do against Zerg so that you can just keep track of their army. On most maps, you really don't want like pylons like this one here is in a really bad spot, and this one here. What you want is a gateway wall built across here, because that's the only way to stop Baneling run bys. Like, if you watch, these Banelings come in here, and they just blow up and kill so many. Like, those Banelings got so much value. 8 probes, a cannon, a bunch of zealots, a storm. That's just so much value. That's why you really need, like, gateway wall built across a place of gateway here, and then 2 gateways here. Put a cannon behind here, cannon here, and shield batteries. And you on your 4th base, you really want your shield batteries and cannons to be close together so that you have more space to move around them. On your 3rd base, it can be nice to have them spread out a bit more so that Lings can't surround your army whilst you're defending there as much. But then you really want those buildings back here, towards the back of the 3rd. So you can later on build your gateway wall. And you see now, these Baneling run bys are going to come in, and there's really no way for Mixu to stop these. He's sacrificing so many zealots here, and still loses 4 probes, loses a bunch of cannons and shield batteries, loses all the energy on this shield battery. So that Baneling run by it traded gas for a fair bit of minerals, but it makes everything harder to deal with in the future. Oh, this Baneling run by getting caught out has so much gas to lose. A bunch of really nice storms. River gets a cancel on the 5th base, which is nice. But he's building up. He's got his Spire going, Adrenal Glands. He's got his first Spire up as well, and getting a Air Carapace. So Mixu has a bit of a timing window here where he's got a bunch of storms. He's got some carriers going. And River actually doesn't have any true anti-ground units. Mixu might lose his base actually. Really early shield battery overcharge. It just makes it really hard to actually fight here. I'm going to get a carrier caught out as well. Almost. Just barely saved it. I think if microed better, that actually could have been much worse for Mixu. If River microed it better. Could have killed off that red health carrier. So, Mixu's trying to push in here now. Now, River has this really difficult period of time here, where he doesn't have Broodlords, he doesn't have Lurkers, so the ground army goes almost uncontested for Mixu. And he's still trying to get up his Corruptor count to actually deal with the carriers. His Storms are going to be really good versus Hydras, the Archons are great versus Lings. Lovely Storm there by Mixu. Going to really help. So I think River just needs to back off here and actually sacrifice his 3rd, because he needs to get up his army. But he doesn't, so he ends up winning that game. Or losing that game, even. Quick reminder to everyone, please use the Matcherino codes to support the tournament and things. You know the drill. You know how it works. Matcherino sponsors the tournament, gives us a web page, and then you just go to that web page and throw in the promotional code, and we get more money for the tournaments. So, aside from the awkward building placement around his bases and the very early usage of shield batteries when there's actually not really many units to fight there, that was a pretty well played game by Mixu. Exactly what you want to see out of him. I'm casting. So I think he's probably gonna gate forge this game, honestly. River's really on top of getting those run-bys in. Like there was one run-by that really didn't get any value at all and just died to 2 storms. But the other run-bys were actually pretty good. If River had lurkers, and would have to be able to defend the ground army of Mixu, and would have gotten his air transition a bit cleaner, he actually would have been a really good spot. But saying that, it is a lot to really manage. So we'll have to see if our Blue Zerg playing in the top right and representing Archangel EU to see if River can pull it back. In the bottom right, got Mixu representing the DOH. This is the thing is you really can't. There isn't any army of Zerg that can fight the Protoss army on the ground without Lurker or Broodlords. Because Hydras get countered by Storm and Zealots. Lings get countered by Archons and Zealots. And Roaches get countered by Immortals. Banelings do deal with Zealots really well, but Storm, if you micro and pull back the Zealots and let the Archon and Immortal tank, they're really tanky, so they can actually take it. So there's not really much way to fight a Protoss army, as long as the Protoss is aware of where the Zerg army is and doesn't get flanked in a really awkward position. So as a Zerg, you really need to, just as quickly as possible, around like 7 or 8 minutes I think. I'm not sure because I don't pay an insane amount of attention to timings. You need to have your Lurker Den going. Because otherwise your army just gets run over by the Protoss. Against Zergs, that's the only thing I'm ever really scared of. With an Immortal Archon Charge Lot army. Because otherwise, me personally, I could just stay on that army forever and just run around the Zerg bases and eventually kill them. And just like keep killing off bases, taking good trades. Because the Zerg army does not trade well into the Protoss army without those anti-ground unit tools. It's a thing that's present in every matchup, or in Zerg vs Terran as well, where you have these moments where one side has a tool that the other doesn't have an answer for, and then the player has to use that period of time to gain their advantage. And the other person has to do their best to minimize that period of power, or minimize the amount of time it has, and minimize the amount of power they can gain. That's how Zerg or Terran and Protoss keep up with the really strong economic power of the Zerg. Protoss also does it by having strong economic power themselves with Chrono Boost. I think we're going to see Void Rays this time, ladies and gentlemen. I think Mixu's going to do it. He's going to go double Stargate Void Ray. Something that really fascinates me in StarCraft is how you... Things like, when I started playing, I always thought that like cannon rushes and ling floods were just noob strategies. Like, there's just things like only bad players lose to them. And they just have some very consistent response to that makes them completely useless at a certain level of play. If you lose to them, you're just a noob. But it actually really isn't the case. Because whilst yes, they're not the most consistent strategies at the highest level, like they do still very much have a place, and they are harder to deal with than you would think, or than I thought. No second queen here this time, so Oracle does actually get a drone kill, which is really nice. But as I was saying, with those things that you consider to be just newbie, like things that only noobs would do or only noobs would lose to, I love how metas work and how they constantly change. It is a thing in just every game. Where like from time to time you'll have these units. Like a few months back, if I saw a player building just mass Void Ray this early, I would think they were a really bad player, just doing the cheesy thing that bad players do sometimes. But now, because of just a few small buffs with the price change, Void Rays actually not only become a viable method of getting to the mid game, they become at the highest level the only viable method, from what I've heard from pro players on the streams and stuff. It's really interesting how things can flip-flop so quickly, or so suddenly. Okay, so we've got 5 Void Rays here, 5 Queens. Void Rays, gonna target down the gas, just barely not killing it. Losing a lot of health though. One Void Ray does get sniped as well, that's a lot of... That's an expensive loss. So now we've got Hydras coming out. We should see Storm for Mixu pretty soon, because he's going to need it to deal with the Hydralisks. Mixu's actually, he's gone up to 72 workers, but he doesn't actually have a 4th base yet. So those probes aren't actually going to end up doing all too much, and they cost him a fair bit. So actually it would have been better for him to delay getting them and get the 4th base faster and get some extra gateways faster. Okay, we have a quick Spire out of River. An Infestation Pit. So I don't know if these are going to be for Mutalisks. No, it shouldn't be for Mutalisks because he has double Stargate. But going to be some quick Corruptors. Got Fleet Beacon coming out, Storm coming out, so both players just teching up. I don't really agree with the decision to build Immortals here, because they're your anti-armor unit. And the only real unit that Zerg has that is armor that the Immortal really is meant to deal with is the Roach. But the Roach is a very weak unit that doesn't scale well. So Zerg doesn't actually want to build Roaches. And Immortals are good versus Lurkers, but they're not the unit you want to have versus Lurkers. You want to have Carriers. So if your opponent doesn't have Roaches, you actually don't... You have no reason to get Immortals. It's actually not really... This supply you'd rather have is Carriers and Archons. Because Archons deal with the Corruptors, and they deal with Lings. I mean, Lings aren't as viable, but like the Corruptors stuff. Good split by River with these Hydralisks is gonna end up killing off even more of these Void Rays. I'm actually gonna kill all of them. That's a pretty heavy loss for Mixu there. Losing 5 Void Rays like that. River's going up to 93 workers. I haven't been playing much StarCraft 2 in the past few days, but casting and watching actually really makes me want to play again. I've just been chilling with Factorio, which is really fun engineering. This run-bys can get caught out. This is why you want to send your run-bys through the corner of the map rather than the centre. Because now that run-by ended up dying with dealing no damage and didn't really put his opponent out of position. Now these Corruptors running right on top of these Carriers. Lots of Storms coming down are going to whittle down this Corruptor's health. But now the Carriers are dead and there's not much to this army. And none of the Corruptors actually died, so they're just going to end up regenning that health slowly. So that really wasn't a very worthwhile trade for Mixu. Losing 2 Carriers, not getting any Corruptor kills. I think the play for Mixu now is just stay back and he needs to make use of static defense to make up for the fact that he doesn't have the biggest army right now. He needs to get DTs and start trying to do DT harass. Although River is going mad on the Spore Forest, so Mixu kind of needs to get Tempests going. So these zealots, they're gonna get caught out by the army of River. Gonna kill off a spine, maybe get a few drone kills. That's kind of just gonna be minerals thrown away that could have been spent on static defense, or saved for a later run by, or saved for characters actually. Now think about it, characters kind of needed. Interceptors do cost a fair bit of minerals. Bit of a conga line here for Mixu, so he's going to lose a few units. No real value. I think River was just trying to trade out supply there. So he's trying to go Corruptor, Viper, Broodlord. Which is really just like the ultimate late game composition, honestly. But now this is a point in the game where actually Blink Stalkers can become pretty good. Because, like, there's how many Broodlords here? 2, 4, 6... It's 8 Broodlords. If you just get, like, a fuck ton of Blink Stalkers and blink straight under the Broodlords, like, what does the Zerg do? It's like, Mixu could just, like, drop, like, 6, 8 more gateways, save up a big bank. Like, if he gets a big bank, like... And then just like mass warp in Stalkers and blink under the Broodlords. Well, Investors will make that play no longer work. Because the Infestor Fungal kind of screws with Stalkers. Now it's just a battle to see who has the better spellcaster control. If Mixu can get the feedbacks off onto the Vipers before the Vipers can do anything, or if River will be able to just get the yoink. Oh. Engaging into these Spore Forests with Interceptors is a really good plan. So, a few feedbacks going down, killing basically all the energy on these spellcasters. And now you can just target down the Broodlords with the carriers if he wanted. He didn't really notice they could, I don't think. Oh, this is kind of cool. He's got this forward cannon position. It's gonna make that's gonna make it harder for the Zerg to abuse this space between these two bases. Yeah. And same here. With these cannons and shield barriers, he really just protects the space in between bases. So it makes rotations for Mixu easier, and makes rotations for the Zerg harder. I really don't like the fact that both of these players are just maxed. So they've got no way to harass each other really, because they're completely maxed. Tempest Zimba. Not really, but it's fun to say. It's fun to call things Zimba. Good. So Broodlord's coming in and trying to get a bit of value out. Gonna kill off a few stack defenses. Mothership going way too far forwards. That's gotta get killed off by the Corruptors. I was so late of River to realise. Actually nearly gets away. The Mothership's now dead. Another carrier gets yoinked. Now all the Interceptors are out, so this is a kind of hard fight for River to take. River calling GG when he has a 5k bank. Can't play with the lag. Well, that sucks. Ended up getting done in by lag. So that's all for today, isn't it? It really sucks to see that like River got a bunch of lag right at the end there. No. That was a nice set of best of threes. Rather chill. I honestly thought it was going to go on for longer. I was ready to be just tired out of my mind. But no. Okay, just take it chill the rest of the day. That's nice. So, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed. My casting was a bit off today. I haven't casted in a little while. But, yeah. Remember to use the Matcherino codes. It helps out a ton, as Illusion said. Helps us raise the prize pool for these players and just supports the tournament in general. There will be more casting in an hour and a half. We'll have Group B of the DSL Elite casted by... who was it? Nordy and Captain Club. They'll be casting that in 1.5 hours? No. 3.5 hours. Yeah, 3.5 hours. Something like that. At 18 PM CET. I will be casting again tomorrow, same time. I will have Group C, which is going to be, let's see. Group C tomorrow is going to be Lambdoi, Tossador, Danilo, and Bass. It's going to be a very Protoss heavy matchup. Tossador's he's a very defensive player, very slow player. Daniel's a very aggressive and fast player, so it's going to be interesting to see them go at it, I think. I don't know much about Bass or Lambdoi. Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to follow and stuff. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed. Ta-ta.